Hello, my name is Jessy. I'm a trustee for the Autistic League Oxford, and I want to talk to you. I want to tell you a little bit of my story and how I come to terms with my diagnosis. It was a late diagnosis. I'm 45, and I only got diagnosed pretty much early this year. Initially, I got initially diagnosed with ADHD last year in April. Um, the road hasn't been easy, but I'm okay. So, what I want to talk to you is about how I grew up in a dysfunctional family. I strongly believe that siblings never got along with each other because neither of my uncles from my mother's side and my uncles and aunties from the father's side got along, and they were always antagonizing each other's, and the same pattern following in my family. At home, like, no, we are three children and we hardly speak to each other. We don't get along with each other. So to me, it has always been fascinating. I always find fascinating when I meet siblings that get along or siblings that are best friends to each other. So once I met these, they're close friends now. When I met them, I found really interesting that these siblings, two sisters and one brother, got really along, like to the point that they're best friends of each other. And I asked them, because that doesn't never comes from the siblings. It comes from the parents, from the education the parents give them. And I loved the philosophy of the dad, which was basically, do you know what? Every time they fought, he would he would tie them. We were like putting together, wrap them around with a rope in the garden, and then tell them over and over again, you are siblings. You are not to fight each other. You are to advocate for each other, which is something that it just became ingrained on me. And now that I'm a mother of two boys, I feel that that's the way forward. And I said to them, and I tell them over and over again, every time they fight, I don't take sides. I just feel that it's important for them to understand that regardless of what differences they have, regardless of what misunderstandings or beliefs, they are to support each other, they are to advocate for each other. So it's the same for me. It has taken me a long time to get to where I am. I'm autistic. I also have ADHD, and I'm also dyspraxic. I only discovered it last year. I'm 45, and it has been a long road. I also would like to share my story because I think these stories are quite interesting. I love when people tell me their stories, so I think I'm going to tell you mine. So last year there was an event at work, which I constructed with my autistic mind, and what followed was a full-on breakdown. I was really depressed. Like, I felt rejected, I felt betrayed, I felt all sorts of things that nobody should feel. And it got to a point that I felt that life was not worth living because the pain, which I now know is called rejection sensitive dysphoria. I wish I knew in that time, because it was unbearable and I just could not understand why I couldn't get rid of that pain, why it was so intense. And I also felt that, is this the rest of my life? It's not worth living. So I used to have really long hair, and what I did is, rather than, I decided for the sake of my children, that rather than taking my life, I was just to shave my hair, which I did, and it's now growing. And then I tried to find the truth. The first truth I found, and it was kind of like a helpful when they said to me, when my doctor sent me to a psychiatrist, and I said, well, I'm having problems concentrating, all my strategies, everything is out of the window every time I'm stressed. The psychiatrist picked up on that, have a little chat with me, and said, yeah, you definitely have ADHD. And that was it, off I went, medicated. But there were still, so that explained a little bit the way I tend to talk back and forth. My thoughts are all over the place, and sometimes it's very difficult for me to concentrate, and I tend to talk with my hands as well. But then it didn't explain that pain, it didn't explain that thing I felt about friendship, like my labels, or why do I get into this persona because I don't want to show people if I'm depressed or if I'm anxious or if I'm having a bad day. I always show them my best side. And I didn't even know that had a name, and it's called masking. Who knew? So it wasn't until I have another negative incident, like a personal incident over Christmas, and then we end up in Relate, I found their help like invaluable. Like, it was incredible to have their help, because they were the ones that said, so when I told them the story of what happened last year, and that will probably trigger the issues with my partner or the story, they said, we're not here to diagnose you, but have you ever considered that maybe, do you know the word masking? And I was like, mm-mm. So well, and then explained to me that what I'm doing is masking, and then eventually they said, maybe you are on the spectrum, you think? And I went like, what are you putting? And then I went home and it was like, I'm sure, yeah, why not? Like, why not? So I started to read and research as much as I could and see like, well, tick these boxes here and then. And I decided to go to my GP, who I've been with for 14 years now. I found it extremely difficult experience, because the first thing he says, like, I don't think you are. What are you saying? Like, look at you. You're outgoing. You're cheerful. You're friendly. You cannot be autistic. And it was kind of like a blow. Like, I felt really bad. So, and then they gave me the questionnaire. And when I read the questionnaire, of course, I wouldn't say that in my mind at that point, I thought I have theory of mind, but forget it. I can sort of guess what people are thinking or saying, but most of the time I don't get it. I'm coming to terms that it's not even cultural. I thought it was because I'm Venezuelan and living in England, and maybe British people are different, but no, nothing to do with that. So then it came the research. That's how I got to meet Jorik Moll, because he gave a talk in the Oxford University. Everything he said makes so much sense to me. It makes like a wow, of course. Most of the people that were in the auditorium were also on the spectrum or neurodiverse. And for the first time ever, I felt that I belong. I felt that this is it, this is my tribe. I've been looking for you all of my life, but I didn't know that I was this tribe. It's so refreshing to be able to talk to somebody who actually understands how I reacted to what happened this year, to talk to somebody who can give me advice or just listen to their stories and see like, oh, okay, I can see myself on what this person is telling, and I can see why I reacted this way, because in my mind there are only two kinds of people, friends or foe. The problem is that I got this layer, like this label for friends. So friends are to help each other, to support each other, and they are to help you grow and to celebrate you. So anyone who breaks that pattern, then it's not your friend. So what happened is the problem I had last year with these people, I thought they were my friends, and then they did something that was completely incongruent to my beliefs, and therefore it threw me in a dark hole, thinking like, well, if they're acting like that, we're not friends. If they're not friends, we're enemies. And guess what? Enemies hate each other. That's right. So I felt rejected, neglected, betrayed. I don't want people to feel like that, and I would like for people like us or anyone and neurodiverse to be able to reach out, to have somebody to reach out, and tell them like, you know what, you're not damaged. This is how your brain works. This is how you wired, and there are definitely things that we can do, but it doesn't mean that that you're not normal. You are normal, just different to the typical ones. So I think it's important that we stay together, we advocate, we settle, and we put our differences away, and keep going. I think it's important that we keep going and advocate for each other, not fighting each other. That's my message. Thank you for listening.